Obviously had a lot of time off after Boston, and he had an extra long camp to get his weight down, but he looks in good condition at the moment.
Yeah, he's made the weight very comfortable. I don't think it's really a problem for James. 168 pound. Had a real small bit of exercise last night, went to bed, woke up bang on the money. So he's in great shape, very confident. I mean, you know, you've probably seen from your interviews, and if it wasn't James DeGALE, I'd probably think too confident. But I think when he's in this kind of mood, that's when he's going to produce his best. Thought Bute looked great on the scales, in the face as well. Thought he looks confident. Last chance saloon for LUCIAN BUTE. So you have to expect the best that we've seen for some time. But James is very confident. I expect a special performance.
This is the second fight week that you've been kind of around LUCIAN BUTE, obviously the first being in Nottingham. What have you kind of made of him this week?
I think he seems probably more confident than he did in Nottingham. I think he looks in great shape, and he was in great shape in Nottingham. I think that it was only really the weigh-in and being in the arena itself that hit LUCIAN hard. Obviously he's not going to get that same problem here because he's going to have 10,000, 12,000 Canadians on his side, but I'm not sure that he can handle James's angles, his speed, his unpredictability. You know, LUCIAN, I think, will be searching for confidence in the fight, and you can't search for confidence against James DeGALE. He's probably got the worst style to do that for. It's not a case of you can sort of see it through for 4 or 5 rounds and try and work your way into the fight, because you're going to get hit early, hard, and from all kinds of different angles. So I wouldn't be surprised if James DeGALE closed the show within 6 rounds. I really wouldn't. But I do expect a good LUCIAN BUTE and a guy who is fighting for his career.
What do you make of his new haircut?
I saw it when I landed yesterday on social media. I was a bit worried. I phoned him up. He said he was styling it with a razor and it went wrong and he just took the lot off. So
That ever happened to you?
No, I haven't got much left. I'm holding on for dear life. But he says it was like, he's got this thing in his head about Marvin Hagler, destruct and destroy, and that's his mentality going into this fight. He's going to start really fast, and I think he's going to try and close the show early. And you know, he has to be careful because LUCIAN can still punch. But I think James in a great place, great frame of mind, and the vibes I'm getting is that it's going to be a great performance.
Obviously, you're having won the title in Boston. He signed with our Hearn, so there's a kind of another person in the mix with James. If it was just down to you, would you have done LUCIAN BUTE in Quebec for James's first defence?
No, probably not. I probably would have done LUCIAN BUTE in London, but he might have got a bit more money for coming here. So I'm happy with the setup. I think he works well for James. James is really happy. I'd like to see his next fight in the UK. But again, it all comes down to money. You know, he needs, and this is, I know, you know, the box office pay-per-view conversation always rears its head, but that's the platform he needs to be boxing on to compete with the money that he's being offered over here. So if we can find those pay-per-view slots, then I think he'll be more than happy to fight in the UK. If we can't, then don't be surprised to see him against Badu Jack in Vegas or Chavez in Vegas. You know, and he has no problem doing that. You know, when you look at his resume, he beat Andre Durrell in the US. You know, fingers crossed tomorrow night he would have beaten LUCIAN BUTE in Canada. So it's quite a nice story, you know. But I do feel like there's some big fights for him in the UK. So you know, I'll sit down and talk to James and Al and the family, and you know, wherever they want to fight, we all put options on the table. But you know, I think I'd like to see him back in spring summer in the UK.
How different is this James DeGALE to the one that you signed, what was it, a year ago now, but a bit longer, 18 months?
It's a different person. He was so depressed when he first came to see us. He'd fallen out of love with boxing. You know, he said, I'm not in boxing to box in front of 700-800 people in shopping centres. James DeGALE is a buzz fighter. You know, stick him in front of 80,000 at Wembley and 10,000 in Liverpool. Stick him in the backyard in Boston in front of 12,000 in Quebec. You get the best James DeGALE. He's a flash kid. You know what I mean? Nothing wrong with that, but that's what flicks his switches. And he was depressed. He was unhappy, and we found a way back to him for falling in love with boxing again. But he's done it all himself because he's the one that's produced the performances. The Durrell performance was sensational, and I think the one on Saturday night against LUCIAN BUTE will be as well.
Just one final one. A part of the travelling team is Reece Bellotti, one of his stable mates, and obviously a matchroom fighter. Great for him to be over here and absorbing it all.
Yeah, Jake Ball was over, another matchroom fighter in Boston, and learning the experience. And Reece is as well. Reece will be boxing on December 12th. it's just great for these young fighters to be around it, see the venues, see the change rooms, the rules meeting, the drug testing, just learning. And sometimes they don't know they're taking it in, but they will be. And you know, we've got John O'Carroll as well, boxing in Germany this week as well. He's got a late call-up, chief support, actually, on the Klitschko Fury card. So it's great opportunities.
Who's the opponent?
He's fighting a Spaniard who's, I think, 12-1 or 12-2 or something like that. So it's a good little fight, but it's great experiences for all these young lads.